Hey now, record peoples, we back. Today I'm gonna start a new series that I will do semi-irregularly on here whenever the hell I feel like it. It's gonna be called the ABCs of UK82. Yeah, it's just gonna be digging through my boxes of UK82 punk singles, one letter at a time. See what the hell I got in here. Right over here, in these here boxes, I got a bunch of singles stored up, and a good chunk of them are UK82 style stuff. And just what the hell do you mean by UK82, you might ask? I'm talking about punk rock from the United Kingdom in the early 80s. So pretty much stuff from 1980 to 1985, 86 is eligible to be in here. I'm talking like spiky hair, mohawk punk, I'm talking anarcho punk, I'm talking any kind of punk rock going on in the United Kingdom in the early 80s. That's what we're gonna go through. Singles only for this. Maybe one day we'll do the LPs. I know a lot of you people are like LP kind of people only, hating on the 7 inches, but it's my channel and I want to talk about singles. So that's what we're doing. Hey, but even if you're not a 7-inch kind of record collector, stick around anyway. We're gonna talk about some cool bands, and 99% of this stuff has been compiled onto, compilation, singles, collection, LPs, and complete collection CD kind of things. So you can get most of this stuff on 12-inch too, if that's what you're into. So today I pulled the A section. Let's check it out. First record on the pile is the A-Heads with their Forgotten Hero single on Blurg Records, 1983. This is Fish number 3, the third record on Blurg, label most closely associated with the great Subhumans, of course. A-Head, it's not only a cool name, it's a way of life. A-Heads play pretty mid-tempo punk rock, female vocalist, and unlike a lot of punk rock vocalists who are trying to yell at you or snarl, this lady's got like a pretty high singing voice, and she's just like singing. It's nice. Got the Blurg tape trade list, right? Send a blank tape and 50 pence per tape. All these live Subhuman shows you could get. A couple other groups. This group did one single before this one that I gotta track down still, and they put out a couple tapes back in the early 80s. And then they did a reunion sometime in the 2000s. I haven't heard none of that new stuff yet. A-Heads. Up next we got Abrasive Wheels. Great band, couple classics of the genre. Some great punk sing-alongs. Shouted vocals, but still tuneful and melodic numbers. These 3 singles all came out between 1981 and 1982. It's their first single, the Army song. Abrasive Records, their own label. This later got picked up and reissued by Riot City. 3 fine punk rock hits. These other 2 both came out on Riot City. One of the best labels of the genre for this kind of shit for sure. The band also has a classic LP from this era on Riot City as well. Highly recommended stuff. After they moved from Riot City to Clay, they got a little bit less good in my opinion. Still some good tunes, but the Riot City stuff is the best for sure. If I had to pick one of these 3 only, I think Burn 'Em Down's my favorite number. Great sing-along street punk. Up next, we got the Accursed, Going Down. I didn't mean it on the B-side. It's on Wreckham Records, 1984. It's their own label from what I can tell. The Accursed were a pretty weird group, man. Musically, almost don't even really fit into this box. But I mean, look at them. The time is right, the place is right, the look is right, and they play punk rock. So even though they don't sound like your typical UK82 band, that's where I file them. You got Steve Hall here on guitar and vocals, also known as the Afflicted Man. He put out like some super weird, like noisy, psychedelic, weirdo punk shit in the late 70s and early 80s as Afflicted Man, a one-man band, before he joined the Accursed here. And this too is some weird, unique, slightly psychedelic, noisy punk shit with like sung vocals, not shouted vocals. This is the only 7-inch they put out. They put out a couple LPs though. They also at some point in the mid-80s did this record called Metal Virgins, where they pretended to be a metal band, I guess. Weird group of fellas. Up next we got Action Packed. Got 5 singles here going between 1981 and 1984. They got one other single I'm still missing. Action Packed, I feel, are on the lighter side of the UK82 movement. Got female vocalists, which like every band with a female vocalist vocalists of this genre is perhaps unjustly somewhat compared to Vice Squad, but they're on their own trip, a little more lighthearted and fun-loving, musically and vocally and lyrically than Vice Squad. But it ain't like weak new wave, it's punk rock shit, it's still cool. This one, their first single from 1981, it's a split with Dead Man's Shadow. Dead Man's Shadow is a pretty cool band too, we'll get to them whenever we get to the D section in this series. Just a happy little group of punk rock youngsters. This one's on Subversive Records. All the rest of these are on Fallout. If I had to pick a best one out of all these, I'd go for the Suicide Bag EP. Pretty good shit, pretty catchy number. Weakest one is probably the last one here. Bit more commercial sounding. Not horrible, but weakest of the bunch. Next up, on the harder end of the UK82 sounds, Ad Nauseam, the Brainstorm EP. Got real fucking gruff vocals on this. This singer went on in the mid or late 80s to make a kind of crossover thrashy band, Decimator. This one's on Flick Knife Records, 1983. Thatcher. He says Thatcher like a million times in this song. Simple, basic, in your face punk. The alphabet next leads us to the Addicts. We got 4 singles here spanning the time frame from 1979 to 1983. The Addicts are their own thing, really. They're on a whole different trip on their own little addict island, you know. They got their own sound that doesn't 100% correspond with the UK82 crowd, but somehow fit in real damn good anyway. Way more fun, catchy, poppy, sing-along punk rock. This first one being from 1979 falls a little bit outside of my UK82 window, but I still mainly associate the Addicts with that scene more than the 70s scene. It don't matter. It's all punk, right? This is an original pressing on Dining Out Records. Pretty red silkscreen cover. There's a little blemish from the silkscreen process on there, but that's alright. Tiny little insert, and they come right off the bat with 2 classics that they still play all the time live. Easy Way Out and Straight Jacket. Couple other tracks on here too. Great record. Recommended. From there, they moved over to Fallout Records with Viva La Revolution single. Another stone cold classic. Monkey all clowny, mimed out. Little bit of Clockwork Orange vibe going on there. Viva La Revolution, Steamroller, and Numbers. All classics. The last 2 are both on Razor Records. Seem to move around a little bit with the labels early on, yeah. Chinese Takeaway and You'll Never Walk Alone, 1982. Fucking classic. Bad Boy, Shake, Rattle, Bang Your Head, 1983. These are all good. Say the first 3 are absolutely necessary punk rock shit, man. Like I said, more on the fun, poppy, silly kind of tip, you know? Not taking themselves so serious, and it works. It's good. Up next, Alternative Attack. No Turning Back. This is 1987 on Looney Tunes Records, which is probably a little late to be in the UK82 box, and it definitely has more of a crossover sound. But look, it says thanks to Broken Bones and English Dogs. Definitely their crossover is very heavily indebted to the UK82 sound and grew out of that. This drummer Spiky, he played with the English Dogs for a bit and Sacrilege UK. But yeah, definitely more of a crossover record, but a fucking good one. Dig it. This leads us up to another totally unique and super interesting group, Amebix. 2 singles on the great Spiderleg Records from 1982 and 1983. What you got here is like a dark and heavy mixture of punk rock, Killing Joke, Venom, and Motorhead and shit. Doesn't really sound exactly like none of them though. It's a real cool mix. Huge influence on the burgeoning crust punk scene. Always pretty rad, evil artwork. Probably should have been unfolding more of these sleeves for you guys, right? That was Winter. And Who's the Enemy? Yes. No Gods, No Masters. I got one other Amebix single. This came out with the reissue of the Arise album that Alternative Tentacles did sometime in the 90s or 2000s, I don't remember. Anyway, I sold that reissue once I got myself an original copy, but like a bastard, I kept the bonus single. It's got like 2 unreleased tunes that they recorded in 1987, like their last couple recordings before they split. Good shit. Moving along to some Anthrax. No, not that Anthrax. This Anthrax. Capitalism is cannibalism, right? Crass Records, 1983. The U.S. metal band Anthrax put out their first single in 1983 too, so probably just a happy accident that they are both called that. Pretty great artwork on this single, done by somebody named Tasty M and Cam. Another fold out poster from the boys, very nice. And some scumbag put pinholes in it and really used it as a poster, but luckily it made its way back to the record. And into my loving arms. It's one other Anthrax single from back then. I still gotta grab one of these days. This is great political anarcho-punk kind of stuff, kind of along the lines of Conflict, maybe something like that. Cool record. They did reform and get back together at some point. I haven't heard none of their more modern material. Should probably check it out at some point, I guess. There's so much to hear and only 2 ears. And now it's time for a large chunk of the UK82A section, the anti-bands. The anti-bands. Starting with Anti-Establishment. Got 3 singles here spanning from 1980 to 1983. All 3 produced by the great rat scabies of the damned. Anti-Establishment, it's on that oi trip, right? Bit of oi, bit of rock and roll, a bit of that punk rock shit. Enjoyable stuff. If I had to pick one out of these 3, Future Girl. Good song. Cool single. Music for the nice geezer. Let us now discuss the great Anti-Nowhere League. Got 4 singles here that all came out between 1981 and 1982. A fucking sick run of singles too. Not a stinker in the bunch. I'd call all 4 of these motherfuckers essential. Some mean-spirited, fun-loving, beer-swilling punk rock shit by some bikers. Streets of London, which my first teenage band The Dents used to cover, with So What on the B-side, which the Metallicas cover. It's fucking classic. I Hate People and Let's Break the Fucking Law. Killer. This one, picture disc, got Woman and Rocker on it. There's a picture sleeve version. Kind of prefer to have that one. Probably grab that one day. And For You, Ballad of J.J. Decay. Great shit. I also happened across this one, which seems to be a bit of a rarity. This is a 1987 single for the tune Crime that was pressed by the US label GWR. Keep in mind, 1987 was not a great time for Anti-Nowhere League. They done changed their sound and got a bit wimpy in the process, but I dig this song, Crime. A good tune. All it got on it is this rubber stamp on the label. I don't remember what the B-side is. Not nearly as recommended as them other ones. Check out the 1981-1982 shit. Got 5 singles here from Antipasti, spanning the years 1980 to 1982. These are all on the Rondlet record label. Now, this first one was originally put out on their own label called Dose Records. And this copy's a little thrash, so I'm kind of on the lookout for original Dose copy that's not beat like this one. And this single right here, man, for 1980, really predates and predicts the upcoming UK82 sound, dude. In my opinion, No Government is an all-time punk rock classic. I don't know that these guys get enough credit for how great of a tune that is. 1980 has a real cool Stooges sound mixed into their sound. 2 Years Too Late. Great punk rock single. Some of the tunes are on the mid-pace to slower side, but goddamn it, No Government is a fucking winner. Fucking killer punk rock jam. Let Them Free, another Dead Soldier. Solid. 6 Guns, Call the Army, I'm Alive. Good one. Now these last 2 singles come from their second album, and they did change their sound a little bit for that. I kind of couldn't get down with it for a while. I discovered this band pretty early on in my punk rock days, and I always loved that first album, and I could never really get down with the second record. But in the last 4 or 5 years, I've finally become accepting of the second album. Like this jam, Caution in the Wind, is kind of a jammer. Check this out, including free sticker. You see that shit all the time and it's missing. But this one actually came with the sticker, which is red. This one, on the other hand, East to West, is probably the shittiest single of the pile. The B-side's decent. But No Government, though. Get that one. That fucking song. Punk rock classic. Antisect, Out from the Void, Endangered Music, 1986. It's fucking dark, heavy, metallic, crusty anarcho-punk. Definitely a bit more metal in there than their classic 84 LP, which also rules. No song titles really listed, it's just like Out From the Void Part 1 on the A side, Out From the Void Part 2 on the B side. Super rad band though, I seen them a couple years ago and they were like super cool live. Definitely playing a little different kind of racket now, but still pretty rad. I got 2 Antisocial singles, both on Beat the System Records, 1982 and 1983. I'm still missing their Made in England EP, which I will find eventually. I'll find it, I swear. This first one here, Antisocial with Another Punk. Turns out the Another Punk is Mick, the singer from The Fits. It's a cool mix. You get one tune of fast, sloppy punk with another punk yelling at you, and one more mid-tempo number. It's more of a shouter. Too many people, that's a fact. Even though you forgot a O, that's okay, I forgive you. This one here, the official Hooligan EP, is from a year later. It's not with the dude from The Fits, just the boys. It's got definitely more of like a oi kind of sing-along vibe going on. A little bit better produced. Band's a little bit more practiced. Both singles are cool. Beat the System was a rad label. Anti-System, Defense of the Realm EP. Pretty crazy artwork, man. Look at their faces are red. This is PAX Records, 1983. Fast, angry anarcho-punk. Big on the animal rights kick. PAX 11. Insert poster and lyrics. More stuff. This is a pretty rad EP. The vocals are way more in line with like a US hardcore vocal approach than most of the UK82 stuff. Fast, unrelenting hardcore punk. It's fucking rad. The last group in the A section is Attack. Got the Today's Generation EP, the Murder in the Subway single. Both came out on No Future Records in 1982. The legendary No Future Records. The chick in the middle, Lindsay, the drummer, is the sister of Mackie from Blitz. And Attack indeed have a sound not too dissimilar to Blitz, man. Kinda in that same Blitzy, No Future vibe that you might expect. Musically and even vocally, it has a fucking good Blitz feel, which to me is perfect because Blitz in that era was fucking amazing. And these guys do a hell of a job with that same kind of sound. They put out a real cool LP too. Good band. If I had to pick one of these two, say the Today's Generation EP is a little bit better. But they're both good. Well, that's it for it today, babies. That's all I got in the A section. Some other day we'll fucking dig further into that box and see what's lurking in the B's and the C's and all of that shit. Until we get to the end. But it'll probably be a long process because I ain't trying to do this 59 weeks in a row, you know? Just whenever the feeling's right, we'll jump back in to the ABCs of UK82 here on Yorkshire, the Record Jerk, the stupidest channel on the stupidest platform in the stupidest world in the stupidest universe of all time.